So, Ilya Taporia shocked the world after his relinquishing of the featherweight belt and has since made a move, an official move to lightweight, and he's already making demands. Look, I like Ilya. I'm not a fan, but I have given him tons and tons of praise for a while now, you know, and I've given him more. I've given him even more praise, and he deserves it because he knocked out Alexander Volkanovski and Max Holloway, two UFC all-time greats, back to back. The motherfucker is on the rise. I refer to him as the Spanish Conor McGregor because he's also got some stellar trash talk as well. He's the real deal. That being said, you know, I was an advocate for his move to lightweight. I thought he definitely should move to lightweight. Maybe even be able to challenge Islam Makhachev right away. But if he wasn't able to get the immediate title shot against Islam, he should be, you know, open to fighting any of the other top guys at lightweight to prove that he should be fighting Islam next. I think that's also an acceptable option. The surprising news is it is not an acceptable option for Ilya. Ilya wants an immediate title shot or bust. I don't know what this is. I don't know what he thought this is. This isn't the Ilya Taporia show. It is the UFC. Ilya Taporia is still a UFC employee, and he still has to operate within the boundaries of the organization. Okay? Ilya Taporia is not the fucking founder of the UFC. He doesn't get to, you know, move to another division and it's I get the title shot or nothing. You know, he hasn't done that much yet. Knocking out Alexander Volkanovski and Max Holloway back to back is doing amazing things. And I even said it warrants him a move to another weight class and an eventual shot at the champion of that next weight class. I said that. I said that knocking out Alexander Volkanovski and Max Holloway back to back proves you've done enough at featherweight. I think it does. I don't think it proves you're the GOAT of featherweight, but you've done enough there to test what you can do at another division. And you know, I think even if you're not able to fight Islam Makhachev, fighting another top guy at lightweight is still a test of what you can do at that division. To Ilya, I guess it's not that because Ilya's camp was asked about, you know, how Ilya would feel about fighting a number one contender like Armin Tsakarian or any other top lightweight, and apparently Ilya doesn't want that. I don't get it. You know, I think a fight against Armin is still a win, and if he does not take that fight against Armin, he's going to look weak. The other thing is, okay, if he doesn't want to fight Armin and he's not able to get a title shot against Islam immediately, what the fuck is he going to do? You already left featherweight. You already left your title at featherweight. Okay? So you're here now. You can't go back. You're going to take whatever fight we fucking give you. You know? Is what I would imagine Hunter Campbell would say to him or Dana White would say to him. You know? Because it's already too late. Ilya can't go back. You left your title. You made the official move. You shocked the MMA world. You know, you have proven you are done with your first division and you are moving on to greater things. And that greater thing being champ status. You know, so I think whether or not he fights the champion of that next division immediately or has to fight a number one contender and then the champion, I think either way is good. Because let's say he fights Islam right away and beats Islam, he's still going to have to defend that title. So he's going to have to fight a number one contender either way. So why not get it done now and then get the belt? You know, I think either way is fine enough. So like I said before, I briefly touched on it. I think if Ilya does not fight Armin, or, you know, like if he's offered Armin and just, I guess, pouts about it and says he wants to fight Islam, it's going to look like he's scared of Armin. It's going to look like you're scared of Armin. And I would argue that Armin is you know, at a glance, the less threatening of the two, of him and Islam. I think Armin would be the easier option at a glance. I'm not saying Armin is easier to beat than Ilya. I'm just saying at a glance, Ilya looks like the bigger bad than Armin does. Armin is still a young up and comer. He's well rounded and he's great, but he's not the big bad from a glance that Islam is. So I would, if I'm Ilya, I'm taking the Armin fight. He's a young guy. I'm the big guy doing the big stuff at the other divisions. I got the championship. I knocked out two all-time greats back to back, and I'm here now. So I'm definitely looking like the A side, even though I'm coming from a different division. So, I think Ilya should take the fight. I'm surprised Ilya's not wanting to fight Armin, because Armin is wanting to fight. Armin fucked up. Armin pulled out a night before his title shot. He's jonesing to get a fight against somebody big to get his name close to title contention once again. So I think this fight is written in the stars. I think if Ilya cannot fight Islam, a fight against Armin is the next best thing, and it's still a blockbuster fight. That's also a fight that's going to put a lot of asses in seats, because regardless, this is a brand new look at an Ilya Topuria at a different weight division, a heavier Ilya Topuria that poses a lot of questions. Can Ilya Topuria's power translate to this new division? Is he just as durable in this new division? Is his energy and his cardio going to be better or worse at this new division? There's a lot of questions that need answering. So I think a fight between Ilya and Armin is just about as great as a fight between Ilya and Islam. So without further ado, I'll give you what I think about the fight and how that fight goes down. Both fighters are extremely well-rounded, and of course Ilya assumedly has the power advantage. I'm assuming that Ilya's power is going to be able to translate over, and that he will have the power advantage in this fight, despite both fighters being well-rounded, because Armin is great on the feet and great on the ground as well. I don't believe Armin's chin has been like thoroughly tested. I think it's been tested at times, so I don't know how durable Armin is when he's going up against a real heavy hitter. But I'm gonna bet that it's also there. I think Armin is going to come into this fight durable and ready, especially because he fucked up, before. Armin's grappling is great. Ilya's grappling is great. The two, I think, are gonna pretty much negate each other's grappling. Maybe Armin will have a little bit of an advantage. I'm not sure. It depends on how much boxing Ilya's doing compared to grappling in his camp. It's hard. It's a hard decision. I can easily say, oh, Ilya's gonna knock out Armin because he has so much power, and like the TikTok MMA people, like, oh, Ilya's power. But again, we cannot be so sure that the power is going to translate. Some people move to heavier divisions, and the punching power they once had is looking like pillow punches in this new division because the guys are bigger, they have more water in their brains. And some guys are taller. But, he will have lucked out with a fight against Armin because Armin is basically the same height as him. So these are both short guys, So, yeah. It's tough. And I know this opinion isn't the most popular. I think it's pretty damn near close to 50-50 to a 50-50 fight. And it's just because both fighters are so well-rounded, and there's no height advantage for Armin. If Armin was like 5'10" like Islam, then I would definitely think Armin, because Armin has beautiful kicking. And the reach plus the kicking is a deadly combination for a guy like Ilya. But Armin is short, just like Ilya. And Ilya's got power, and I'm betting on the power being able to translate. Fuck. It's a tough prediction. On one side, I'm 50-50 that anything could happen. Any small thing will be enough to tip this fight in one direction in comparison to the other. I see a possibility that Armin is able to out-grapple Ilya and pretty much dominate him on the ground and be, evasive enough to avoid the devastating shots of Ilya throughout the entire fight and win via decision. I also see a possibility that Ilya is able to, connect on Islam more than connect on Arman more than like 4 or 5 times clean, and that'll probably be enough for Ilya to pretty much fucking crack Arman, probably towards the middle or latter half of the fight. Fuck, it's difficult. It's difficult. And then I also have to think about Armin's nerves, because Armin is also kind of shown sometimes to be a little bit of a mentally a mentally how do I want to put this, a mentally susceptible, a mentally uh fuck, I can't, the term is not coming to me, but Armin can his mental state can be affected, his mental state can be affected. The nerves get to him. He gets real anxious at times. He showed that in his fight against Islam. He showed a lot of nerves in that fight, especially in the press conference. He was not willing to talk a lot, did not look comfortable, looked very nervous, looked like he just wanted to get it over with, which I don't blame him. I'm not saying the fight game is easy and that you should just be nonstop cool and relaxed, but you gotta play that off. You have to, like, if you're really not feeling relaxed, you gotta fake it. You can't give your opponent a weakness like that, because then it's gonna add more confidence to your opponent. You coming in looking nervous, it's gonna make your opponent think, oh yeah, I got this in the bag. This guy's fucking done. He's in his head. I'm gonna be in his head when I'm fucking starting the fight out. Yeah, he's done. You can't give your opponent that. You got to come out ready, looking relaxed, looking focused. Armin didn't look like that. So yeah, Armin could also kind of just be fucked up in the head because of how great Ilya looks and what Ilya's done and the fan base and everything like that. So Armin could definitely come in a little bit hesitant and anxious, not wanting to be there and stuff like that. I want to choose Armin just because there's something about him that I think is real great. It's real championship quality. But I'm going to go with Ilya. I think Ilya cracks Armin later in the rounds, later in the fight. Round 3, round 4. More specifically, round 3. I think Ilya is going to be able to land stuff on Armin. I think the grappling is going to be a back and forth exchange. But when it's on the feet, Armin's going to try to, use that world-class striking, but I think Ilya's got some prepared for it. I think Ilya's going to be able to get some combination together. I think Ilya's going to be able to land a clean punch here or there, and it only takes about 4 or 5. After maybe 3 or 4, Armin is going to be a little bit worn down, a little bit more tired, a little bit more damaged. He's going to show it, and then in round 3, Ilya puts together a killer combination that ends off with a really clean motherfucking punch that cracks Armin, like Ilya has been able to do to so many fighters before Armin. So yeah, I got Ilya in this fight if he takes the fight, or if the UFC forces him to take this fight, because I think if Ilya is not willing to take this fight, the UFC should force Ilya versus Armin for the next shot against Islam Makhachev. But overall, let me know what you think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. But most importantly, subscribe. I love you guys, and I'll see you all in the next.